waiting to take over from Fangio. I was on the pit counter, and it was just a dreadful melee of what happened. I mean, all hell broke loose. And quite frankly, when I could see the disaster, I went in the back. I couldn't see any point in just hanging around talking. It really was a dreadful disaster, which I think was a combination of 2 or 3 mistakes on the part of other people, which could easily have been avoided if those mistakes hadn't happened.
The worst accident in motor racing history occurs when Pierre Levagh's factory Mercedes hits the back of Lance Macklin's smaller Austin Healey during a confusion while overtaking. Macklin jumps clear, unhurt, while part of the Mercedes rockets through the crowd, killing 80 people, with the rest of the magnesium body exploding on the bank beside the track. For Pierre Levagh, who had so nearly won Le Mans 2 years earlier, it is an inglorious end to a long career. Doom hangs over the future of Le Mans. For days, high-ranking officials argue for and against banning the race. Some countries want to prohibit motor racing completely. But after the initial pain, common sense prevails, and the sensible thing is done. The circuit is made safer. In retrospect, it is generally agreed that the 80 people who died at Le Mans in 1955 helped to improve the organization of motor racing, and certainly made it safer. The Ford Bonanza that hits Le Mans and motor racing like an unstoppable avalanche in the middle 1960s is considered by many of the purists to be a vulgar exercise in American capitalism. But unquestionably, the exit of the Ford Motor Company leaves a void that will be difficult to fill. Ironically, without Ford lifting a finger, the car they created for their first assault of Le Mans in 1964, the GT40, wins the race outright in both 1968 and 1969, largely due to its reliability, at the expense of the next super factory team, Porsche, who will dominate the classic in 1970 and 71. Extravagant though Ford's factory effort proved, without them and their publicized battle with Ferrari, Le Mans is never quite the same. Although the crowds still come, there's a general feeling that the magic is missing. When any factory team, whether it's Ford, Porsche, or Matra, set about a program to win Le Mans, a single victory is not conclusive in their eyes. So additional finance is poured in the following season to prove the point. The public must be convinced. Matra wins 3 years in a row, 1972, 73, and 1974, with the French driver Henri Pescarolo achieving a hat trick. But it's now become apparent to the organizers and the team that Le Mans is fast running out of time. There are few automobile manufacturers able to afford, or even wanting to afford, the luxury of building an exotic Le Mans prototype. Many feel the public can no longer relate to such extravagance, particularly when it's government money. A prototype racer, entirely created, designed, and financed by the 5th largest oil company in the world, wins the 1975 Le Mans Endurance Classic, the Gulf. But the victory is hollow. The important factory teams have left the arena and gone home to build more economical production cars to meet the public's demand. It's no longer a race to create new trends for the cars that you and I will one day drive, but a fading pageant.
Well, another chapter of Le Mans has come to a close. With a worldwide fuel shortage and ever-growing concern, the exotic prototypes of Matra, Ford, and Porsche, capable of only a few miles per gallon, are no longer really practical. The hope is the organizers of Le Mans will take heed of our time and reshape the 24-hour endurance race to meet the needs of today's manufacturers. Perhaps return the classic to the way it was staged at the beginning, with the best and fastest of the world's production sport cars battling it out. Like the Ferrari Boxer, the Lamborghinis, the Corvettes, the Maseratis, or this turbocharged 911 Porsche. That you and I can buy off a showroom floor. Well, I hope so. Because if they don't, we stand to lose forever an auto race and sports classic that has contributed greatly to our motoring heritage. Because each and every one of us that drives a motor car has benefited in some way from the 24 hours of Le Mans.